Peace, 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 peace. Welcome to another episode of the Parry. We don't pull or duck no punches, and the Parry is fundamental to boxing. You know what it is. I am your host, Bomani UFG,
I am the pragmatic Che Black.
and welcome back to another episode of the Parry. Where we gonna discuss, give a year in review, man. 2023. Was it one of the best years of boxing? Was it, in
It's
our
one of the better
lifetimes?
years in a long time. Yes, it's been one of the better years in boxing in a minute. You know, and it was one of those years that setting up for even bigger and better things from what we've seen of this year moving forward. Hopefully,
Yeah, man. I have to admit, it was an exciting year, man. Even the fights that I wasn't expecting to be that good, or didn't really have many, any expectations. Fights turned out pretty good. Uh, Particularly that Sonny Edwards Bam Rodriguez fight was pretty damn good, man. For the
absolutely,
featherweights, man.
absolutely.
Uh, you had old Shaqy Foster versus Rocky Hernandez was pretty damn good, man. Like BC Ramirez and what's my other man? Espinoza.
Yes, 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 yes.
Like a ton of great fights this year. Not to mention you had the Day of Reckoning card that came out.
But I was at the end of the year, going from the early in the year. He had the biggest fight of the year that could have been made that we've been waiting years for.
Right. Well,
You
yeah.
know,
Of course, we had the Spence Bud Crawford fight.
we got
Uh,
to see Tank in the Ryan Garcia.
Tank Ryan Garcia.
That was
Yep,
a
absolutely.
that was an exciting fight. We got to see Devin Haney face off with
Lomachenko.
Lomachenko, which was a great fight. It was a big fight. You know what I'm saying? It was definitely a great fight. Then we seen Haney again end the year off. We seen with Pro Grace. We got to see um, we got to see Charlo return to the ring facing Benavidez. We got to see Benavidez facing the brother, the younger brother. We got to see Benavidez facing Andre, as well as
Right.
we got to see both Charlos in action. Actually, we got to see Charlo
Charlo
versus
Canelo,
Canelo. You know,
which
so
was a bit disappointing. With some disappointments this year. You had
it
Shakur
was
Stevenson and
disappointment as yeah, it was,
yeah,
it
yeah,
was,
absolutely.
it was.
Let me just hold up before we move any further, man. Let me just remind our family and supporters, man, to jab that like button. Go ahead and uppercut that subscribe button, lead hook that share button, and throw a combination at the notification bell. You know what I'm saying? So you can stay updated on all our new videos and content that we upload. You can follow us on Instagram and X or Twitter or whatever they call it now at the Parry 101. You can follow us on Thread at the Parry 101. Be on TikTok at the Parry dot 101. Did I get that right? The dot Parry dot 101. Yeah, on
Indeed,
TikTok, man.
that's it.
You know what I'm saying? I'm getting it. I'm getting it, baby. I'm getting it. I'm getting it. You know what I'm saying? Um, so yeah, man, we definitely need your support, man. Show us some love. Drop a comment in that comment section. Please do that. And also check out I put two links in the live chat. I'll put it on the description of this video too, man. The links to our list of the top 10 greatest heavyweights, part one and two. Um, the reviews for people who actually got to check it out, man, has been amazing, man. I will say, Che Black, kudos to you, brother. Amazing job again. You know what I'm saying? Um, Peace, sis. I see you with the chat. You know what I'm saying? She tapped in. No doubt.
Okay, okay. Come on
Um,
in, come on in.
yeah, come on in. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, for those who didn't check out our top 10 greatest list of top 10 greatest heavyweights part one and two, please hit those links in the chat. I'll leave it in the description of the video after we done. Um, please check those out, man, because I think those are awesome. Let's run those numbers up, man. But let's get back to it. So yeah, man. This year boxing.
We got to even see something that I didn't think we would see, but we got to see an MMA fighter face the heavyweight champion of the world in a fight that many people felt the MMA fighter actually won. Was that brought out questions about either how good um, is Francis Ngannou
In Ghana. Yeah,
and
in
Ghana,
Ghana, man.
as
And call
as
him
well
call him
as
Google
as
last
well
time. That
as
was crazy.
as well as how bad is Fury? Like, was Ngannou that good, or is this Fury? You know, is he just declining that rapidly?
My honest assessment, man, I think Fury didn't come in taking that fight seriously, man. Like, I mean, my man had back fat jiggling. Not that he always in the best shape, man, but if you look at how he looked going against Wilder, he was in prime tip top shape for, I guess, for his body type. You know what I'm saying? For him, he came in there against Ngannou looking like he just got off the couch. You know what I'm saying? He was over there looking like Homer Simpson, man. And there's no reason why you throwing hooks and uppercuts and your back fat jiggling. Pause. Like, that's crazy. You know what I'm
That
saying? I
that
don't think
fight
I don't I
wanted
don't
an
I don't
immediate
think
rematch.
I don't think he took that fight serious, man. But he's up. He's about to be fighting Usyk next for the undisputed championship, and he better not go into the ring looking like that against Usyk. That's all I know. That's all I know. Because I would favor Fury in that fight, but I also favor Fury in the fight against Ngannou, which technically he won, but you shouldn't have. There was only one person who hit the canvas in that fight,
He won
and it
by
shouldn't have been him.
decision. He was given a decision, but in a fight between two men, from what I seen, I felt personally, after watching the fight 3 times, I felt like he lost that fight, and Ngannou won that fight.
I thought Ngannou won myself, but that's why they the judges and I'm not. I guess you know what I'm saying. I don't know.
I
You
can't
know, I guess
even.
they
I,
didn't want
I
to.
hear. I do hear what you're saying, but we've had some travesty with judging before in the past. So
Oh, we definitely had some questionable decisions this year. That being one of them. Raleigh Romero against I keep calling him the old man because I remember that dude was an old man that he was in there fighting and he got his ass whooped and Raleigh got the decision, man. I don't even know how that happened, but that was early this year if I'm not mistaken. Um, but we definitely had some questionable decisions. We had some fights that weren't so entertaining, and then we had some absolutely gems, masterpieces, and when it comes to boxing, and performance wise, and just overall fights, man. You know what I'm saying? But we do have our we're gonna be giving out some awards today. The Parry. You know, we're gonna give out our fighter of the year, performance of the year, knockout of the year, upset of the year, our prospect of the year, and our round of the year. I don't want to start with the top prize, which I guess will be fighter of the year. We could start. We could start with what you know what? Let's start here, man. Hold on. 1 second. Our round of the year. Our round of the year go to drum roll, please. Our round of the year goes to Oshaki Foster and Rocky Hernandez. That round 11. First of all, that whole fight was pretty good, and I got to give Oshaki Foster mad props for pulling out that victory. Now, hopefully, people got to see that fight, man. Just for pulling out that victory, I thought that was amazing. He was down on all the scorecards, and he stopped him with 30 seconds left in the 12th round. But that wasn't even the best round. You know what I mean? The best round was that round 11. Did you catch that fight,
absolutely,
Che? What you thought about it?
absolutely, I felt like um, it was one of them fights where I didn't think Foster was gonna be able to pull it off, man. You know,
Yeah.
the
Nah, it was a
the,
great fight.
the 11th round. I was actually looking at the 11th round today as we were going over what rounds, as what round we should pick. And I was
Right.
reviewing that round earlier today, and to me, it was a no-brainer. You know,
Nah, absolutely. I mean, he went. O'Shaquie hurt Rocky early in the round, had him dazed, even turned his back on him for a second. Then he came back, hurt O'Shaquie, had him up against the ropes, delivering punishment. And then it got to a point where they both were just throwing bolos at each other while O'Shaquie back was against the ropes, man. Um, Very entertaining round. I thought one of them fighters was about to be up out of here in that round. But it went to the 12th round where Shaggy Foster got to end the fight in the 12th round, which was that whole fight was good. For those who didn't see it, I suggest I go back review that one. Um, Shout out to the Zone, man, and Matchroom, man. They be putting on some great cards, man. I can't even hold you.
The
Cause
zone has been
Matchroom,
on fire this year.
I'm telling you, man. People feel like people was talking about, talking nonsense about, the Zone and their whole business model about how they was going. I mean, originally they was planning to not have any pay-per-views, but they fights that's not on pay-per-view be some of their best fights. Like I said, the Sonny Edwards, uh, uh, Bam Rodriguez fight was an excellent fight. This fight was an excellent fight, and these were both headliners, and it was like back-to-back fight cards at that. O'Shaquie Foster, Rocky Hernandez was a great fight, with a great conclusion, man. So, shout out to O'Shaquie Foster, the WBC champ. Um, yeah, man. So that gets our round of the year, man. Just put down in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? Whether you agree with that, you saw the fight, let me know. Is there another? Is this
Heavy
something that we
drama.
else we should consider? Yeah, it
It
was
was
heavy
heavy.
drama in that round.
It was heavy drama in that round. A lot of it was a real, like you said, it was one of them fights where somebody was getting put. Somebody was
Somebody,
going to get put.
but it didn't happen in that round. But it definitely happened in the 12th round. So once again, the round of the year goes to O'Shaquie Foster and Rocky Hernandez, man. Big up to both them champions. Round 11, man. I thought that was a great fight. All right,
Absolutely.
next up, man. Next up. Next up on the list. Our prospect of the year. Now,
To me,
before I go ahead,
go ahead. I'll
before I
let you
even
go.
put
I
it
was
up,
going
go.
to say, to me, this one was a no-brainer, but there was a. Go ahead. I'll let you go.
I see. It depends on. I think the our pick, and I'm not ashamed to admit it, man. I think this pick that we picked is because one, there's a lot of hype behind this kid. His amateur career was pretty sturdy. 2 losses, I think 46 wins in his amateur career. A bunch of national titles. The kid done sparred with some of the best in the game, and they got nothing but praises for this kid. He's 2-0, two knockouts. Now again, I think to the hardcores like us may have a different pick for prospect of the year. Like I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big fan of what's my man name? Why his name escapes me right now? On Top Rank, um, Floyd Schofield. Big
Schofield.
fan of that kid. You got Abdullah Mason. You know what I'm saying? Uh, you got what's that other kid name, man? There's some names out there, man. Some real talented fighters, man. But I think I think I kind of gave it away with the 2-0 and what do you call it? The amateur record. But our prospect of the year, it's the young warrior Kamel Moulton. Our prospect of
Absolutely.
the year, Kamel Moulton, man. This kid looks like he's gonna be the goods. Featherweight, uh, promoted by Floyd Mayweather Promotions. This kid looked like he got all of the goods. He kind of looked like a baby Tank, no? He kind of like he could be Tank little brother.
A little bit. A little bit he does. In fact, there was comparisons to him and Tank in the ring when they actually fight. There's actually been comparisons to him or is it by Abdul Wahid? Is that there's been comparisons to
Abdul
him,
Abdul Wahid.
Abdul Wahid.
Wahid.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Wahid.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Abdul Wahid definitely was a there's definitely I see the comparisons right there. I think the kid got a bright future, a real bright future. I was completely sold on him this year. So I look
And I think
forward
he
to seeing
fought
him
under
watching his ascension. He was fighting under the money team.
yeah, but he fought on the undercard of some big fights. If I'm not mistaken, he fought on the undercard. I think his first fight wasn't the undercard of was it Spence Crawford?
No.
or was it? It wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't. Tank Ryan Garcia. He fought after that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm
I
trying to
think his
remember.
if it wasn't Spence Crawford, it was whatever the next big fight was after that because he fought kind of close back to back. He's 2-0, two first round knockouts. The kid is definitely gifted. He definitely looks like Tank Davis or Abdul Wahid, or however you want to call it. But Carmel Moulton, man. But like I said, some people may say maybe looking at Abdullah Mason or the other kid, Floyd Schofield. There's another kid whose name is escaping me right now. Um, who's been knocking everybody out as well. He just won on his last fight, and he called out Jojo Diaz. His name escapes me. I forgot homeboy's name, man. But for those who know what I'm talking about, man, put it down in the chat. His name is just escaping me right now. But he's been knocking cats out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he
So there's
fought. He,
definitely some probably some up and comers who are a little bit more further along in their career. Um, but still will be considered prospects that probably could have easily won this award. But like I said, if I'm being honest, I think we're kind of going off the hype of the young kid, and I think his future is probably just a bit brighter than the ones that we didn't give this award to.
but
So
I
shout
mean,
out, go ahead.
it wasn't just that his. I mean, his career doesn't look brighter. I. It was on the. Oh man, who was he on the undercard of? I think it was he fought on the undercard. Was it the Canelo?
Canelo, Charlo. That might have you might be right. You might be right. That might have been. Was that his second fight?
The Canelo Charlo fight was winning. That was matter of fact, no, he fought on yes, he fought on the undercard of Benavidez, uh, the Benavidez undercard.
Was it Benavidez? Okay, yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
fought on the undercard of the Benavidez fight back in because it was back in November 25th.
No doubt.
Fought Hunter Turbyfield.
And dropped him like 3 times or something, or 4 times in the first round. Finished him.
Yeah, yeah. And his first fight of the year was back in September, was September 30th against Ezekiel Flores, where he
What
got
what what what, what was the date of the first fight?
the first fight was November 30th. I mean, not November, pardon me, September 30th. He fought Ezekiel Flores.
September 30th. Wasn't that wasn't when was Bud and Spence fight?
That was in July, June. That was in the summertime.
Damn, okay, I'm way off then. All right, see, my memory ain't the best, but I know what I'm talking about sometimes. Anyway, so shout out Carmel Moulton, man. You know what I'm saying? For winning our prospect of the year. And if anybody know the young man, tell him, man, come on the show. You know what I'm saying? Get interviewed by the best to do it. You know what I'm saying? All right, we're gonna keep it moving. Next up, upset of the year. Now, man, I was considering another fight. You know what I'm saying? Over this one, but it's kind of hard to. I think the odds or the what you call it, the odds makers had this guy a serious underdog, and it wasn't too many people that picked this guy to win the fight, man.
I mean, the fight
But
was supposed to be a setup fight, you know.
yep, it was kind
It
of
was,
yeah. It was a lot at stake.
it was really a setup fight for another fight, and it was almost. I mean, it wasn't on the magnitude of Buster Douglas, but it was this, Mike Tyson waiting to fight Holyfield, fight somebody in the interim, and gets
And
knocked
then
out.
and
You know,
just somebody ruined what he called it. How he said ruin the apple cart. Is that what he
yeah,
said?
yeah, they
Yep.
won, yeah, absolutely. So this
The
this fight
upset of the year,
was Joseph Parker
defeating
defeating Deontay Wilder.
man.
That was definitely a huge upset. I kind of seen it coming though. Like I know the fight was considered a huge upset, but I to me it was just inevitable that this was gonna eventually happen once somebody figured out how to stay inside of Deontay's power, smother his punches, keep him from being able to extend his right hand and catch you with the extension of his right hand, which is the only way he can actually generate his power. I seen it as something inevitable. Unfortunately, Deontay Wilder has never really honed his skills the way he should have. I believe a lot of it has to do with the fact that he was able to knock people out with that one punch, and he was relying on it for the longest, and for the longest, it hadn't failed him. But unfortunately, the old adage in boxing is real. You're gonna run into somebody who could take your punch or who you can't hit the way you want to hit them flush. So you gotta work on other things. And when you're not a complete boxer and you don't bring every tool that you need, a lot of times the person with the more tools is gonna have the better opportunity of victory.
Man, I think that one Deontay didn't throw any punches. He didn't really try to fight until that last round. Um, I did say, if you remember, I did say that I felt like either between him and Joshua, somebody was gonna get upset. I was like, there was no way both of them was gonna win this fight because the people been wanting this fight so bad, Wilder versus Anthony Joshua, that I just knew something was gonna upset this opportunity, and one of them was going to lose. Um, if I had to pick one out of the two, I was, anybody who knows me know I'm a huge Deontay Wilder fan. So I was rooting for Wilder, but I said in my mind, I'm like, if anybody's going to lose today, it'll probably be Deontay because I felt he was fighting the better of the two fighters. Joseph Parker being a former heavyweight champion, um, as well as being trained and in the same camp as Tyson Fury, and him possibly being able to get some tidbits and some knowledge on how to, deal with Deontay. But I do feel part of the problem was Deontay wasn't throwing no punches, man. Like he was gun shy just a little bit. Um, but big up to Joseph Parker, man. Like he fought a great fight. He definitely had a game plan. He was slipping and sliding, as they say. Slipping the punch, stepping into stepping into his chest to avoid that right hand. You know what I'm saying? So the game plan was definitely there. Their game plan was active, and it definitely played a part in him winning that fight. But I think if Deontay would have tried to do more throughout the fight, that eventually he might have caught him. Might have not, but he might have caught him. But you definitely ain't gonna catch nobody throwing no punches. But the upset of the year for sure. Yeah, it's hard to pick another fight, over this one. Upset of the year is definitely Joseph Parker defeating Deontay Wilder, man. I'm still
Absolutely.
heartbroken a little bit because I definitely, but the fight still may happen between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, from what I'm hearing, from what I've been reading. It's still up in the air where that fight could possibly still happen next year. So we'll see what happens, man. I definitely don't want to see Joseph Parker versus Anthony Joshua again. I don't want to see that again. I'm
No,
good on
I'm
that.
not interested in that either. But I think personally, Deontay Wilder looked shot. He didn't just look like his regular unskilled self. He actually looked shot in that fight. In that
Yeah,
fight, to me, I think that it's really time for him to pack it up. At 38 years old, he's pretty much proved what he had to prove in the ring. And for me, his only route back to to the top is through either Fury or Usyk. How do you say my man's name? Usyk.
Usyk.
I think that I think that's there's only options, and really it's through Fury. We seen him fight Fury 3 times, and he didn't win any of the fights. He wasn't victorious in not one of those fights. So with that
Right.
being said, I really think that he should really consider, counting the money that he saved up. I'm sure he got some bread still, and you know,
He don't like he hurting. I'll
enjoying
tell you
his
that.
life. Enjoy the
He,
rest of his life. Hopefully he makes some decent investments, because I don't he just really looked shocked to me. He looked like, even when he pulled it out, he couldn't pull the trigger. You understand what I'm
yeah.
saying? Even when he was able to have it aimed and cocked, he wasn't able to pull the trigger. And I think that right there was, that was very telling to me.
When he say his timing was off, I can I
That's the
can I
first
can
thing to
give
go.
him yeah, I can give him that because he was just missing some of them right hands.
But that's the
Some of the
first
right
thing to
hands was
go.
just falling short. Just he was just missing some of them, and then some of them, like you said, he had it ready. He just ain't pull the trigger, man. And I would probably have to agree with you, man. I think he looked like a shell of himself. And the question is it the over year layoff. Like in the past 2 years, he fought one round of boxing. Over the past 2 years, is it the long layoff, or did Tyson Fury, did he leave something in the ring out of those three matches against Tyson Fury, particularly that last one where it was just a brutal bludgeoning. You know what I mean? The man was bleeding from all types of orifices of his body, man. His eyes, nose,
Yeah,
ears,
that was
mouth.
a
You know what I
beat
mean?
down.
Pause.
That was a beat down right there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, but let me before we keep moving, let me just remind everybody, please, for those that's in the house with us, man, please jab that like button, uppercut that subscribe button, go ahead and lead hook that share button, and throw a combination, a 3-4 punch combination at the notification bell. You know what I mean? So you could get updated and stay updated on all our latest uploads and content that we put on the channel, man. So please continue to support the best out here doing it, the Parry. Um, all right. Our next one. I'm trying to think. Should I? You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and go to this one. Our next award goes to. We're gonna do, since we just did upset of the year, performance of the year, and that award goes to. I don't think it's a shock to anybody.
Yeah,
I
this
don't
was a
think this
no
is a shock.
brainer.
This was a no brainer. Like I gotta quote you every time, man. This was a back alley mugging. Like
Yeah, it was.
shout out to Errol Spence, man. Definitely a true champion. Definitely showed true grit in that fight. He tried to fight even when he as much as he got his behind whooped, he didn't stop fighting, man. So you gotta give him that. He's definitely a warrior, and but he just was in there that's just with a fighter that's just a tad bit faster, tad bit stronger, and a tad bit better on that night. And nobody, I mean, there is one guy at my job, man, who I wasn't there when he said it, but a few people co-signed him saying that Bud Crawford was going to dog walk homeboy, and I didn't see a dog walking. I saw a very competitive fight happening, maybe a couple knockdowns on either side, but that's not what happened. An absolute dog walking is what happened, and it's probably the
Yeah,
best performance of not of the year, but of probably of Bud Crawford's career.
absolutely. I felt like I called the ninth round knockout. I didn't expect it to be nowhere near as one sided as it ended up being. However, I didn't think it was gonna be knockdowns both ways and all that. I thought that Bud Crawford was gonna win the fight. Maybe not as easy as he did, but I didn't think it was gonna be as tough as a lot of people predicted it to be for Crawford. I thought he was gonna win convincingly and ultimately end up stopping the dude in the ninth round. I was impressed though at Terrence Crawford, Errol Spencer's heart after getting knocked down. He came back looking to get his lick back ASAP. He came in coming with them hooks, throwing them bolos right after, in the third round. But it was to no avail. And when you said tad bit, I'm gonna say head and shoulders. He separated himself, self head showed that he was a head and shoulders above that, above the number two guy. Like he's just that much better than the rest of the pack, especially
That might have been
him
the understatement
facing
of the
off,
year right there. What I said, tad bit, because you're right.
especially him facing off with Errol Spence. I mean, it looked Errol Spence looked ordinary. He looked completely ordinary. I mean, if I had never seen Errol Spence fight before, I wouldn't realize, you know, he was capable of the accomplishments he already accomplished. And Errol
Errol
Spence knows how to make adjustments. Errol Spence is not a fighter who's went out there and just bulldozed over fighters his whole career. He's had to make adjustments in fights. You know, the fight with Kell Brooks, he had to make some serious adjustments, and even the fight with my man. Why is it escaping me right now? I'm looking at his Sean Porter. Even the fight with Sean Porter, he had to make some adjustments in those fights.
I wouldn't say he had to make adjustments more so than he had to become, maybe step it up a little bit. Like I've seen him fight different styles of fights, like particularly when he fought Mikey Garcia. He was more on the, I ain't gonna say on the back foot, but he kind of was more behind the jab boxing, more so than stepping into your chest, beating, beating the drum.
He didn't respect Mikey Garcia's power. He didn't feel Mikey Garcia could hurt him. He was a smaller guy coming up to a bigger weight. And to be honest with you, Errol Spence is a bigger guy fighting in a smaller weight.
But he also didn't step to him the way he stepped to Sean Porter or to Ugas or to even the Bud Crawford. Like he was stepping to him. My man against Mikey Garcia was more boxing, kind of circling and jabbing and what I mean, throwing combinations. He would step in, do his work, step out. I think I think he could have finished Mikey Garcia whenever he felt like it, but I think he wanted to prove a point that he could outbox who some people had as one of the best pound for pound fighters at the time, in
I mean,
Mikey
at the time,
Garcia.
that was a
So
legitimate. He was legitimately. I wouldn't have him as number one, but he was legitimately in that
he was
area,
in the
in that
conversation.
space.
Yeah, he was in the conversation for
He was
sure.
absolutely in the conversation, coming
Yeah.
from the fighting family that he comes from, and he almost reminded me of like a Mexican Mayweather, not skill wise, but coming from that family, that pedigree, and he's somebody who you talking about someone who's been boxing since he was walking.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that was fresh off beating the bricks off Robert Easter.
Robert Easton, was it?
Yeah, did Mikey Garcia beat Robert Easter or am I tripping? Let me look this up.
I know it was. I know he was on fire. He was streaking at the time. Mikey
I'm gonna tell you
Garcia
right now.
he was streaking at the time. I thought the fight was actually going to be competitive. The only thing I was concerned about was the size difference in that particular fight. But Terrence Crawford, absolutely performance of the year.
Yep, yep, I was right.
Yeah, nah, I thought
He
I thought
he
you were right. Yeah, I remember that.
he was fresh
Um,
off beating. He had beat Adrian Broner, Sergey Lipinets, and Robert Easter back to back
and
before
the
he
way he
fought
beat these fighters was
Errol
pretty
Spence.
much without losing rounds in these fights. Like I don't
Yeah,
remember seeing him lose a round in the Broner fight. I don't remember seeing him lose a round fighting Easton. So I mean, coming into the fight with Crawford, that was a good look for Crawford to me
you mean
taking
Spence?
on a
Spence.
challenger like that.
You mean Spence?
I mean Spence, pardon me. I mean Spence. Pardon me.
Yeah,
Errol
absolutely.
Spence.
Nah, absolutely, absolutely. Nah, it was a great. I mean, he like again, he was pound for pound. Errol was tried to outbox one of the best pound for pound fighters, and he did. And I don't think Errol lost a round in that fight. If I'm being
He
honest,
did.
I think
Errol
Errol won every round.
dominated every
Yeah,
second of that fight. I mean, that was
yeah.
amazing. That was amazing.
And I don't think we've seen the same Mikey Garcia since, though. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, Errol Spence got in there with Crawford. Crawford put on a performance of a lifetime, and he kind of went on a crazy ill press run after that, man. Like he went from a fighter who did interviews here and there to he was everywhere. The
Yeah.
Breakfast Club, Sway in the morning. He was on every show possible, every podcast, every show possible. He was doing interviews, letting everybody know, getting his flowers. Let's say,
That was the
you know what I
fight
mean?
that put him in that pound for pound. He is number one conversation. The
Well,
the
I wouldn't. I
fashion
mean,
that
he
he
was
won it.
already
No,
he
he
was
was already
already
in
in the
it, but that was one
conversation.
of
He was
those.
already there, but
But
I
that was
I,
the
I
one
don't
that
think it was a question
that was the one
after
who
that.
was like, I told you so. He's number one. You know what I'm saying? The fashion of how he did that.
Nah,
I mean,
absolutely.
after that fight, to me, he was number one on my pound for pound list. And I had Crawford right with him. Crawford always, because Crawford's been on my pound for pound list for a couple of years now.
I've had him at number one for a pretty long time, man. Um, Even before the Terrence Crawford fight, I had him as the best pound for pound fighter. So, and I'm on a record with that. You know what I'm saying? So people can say what they want. I wasn't on no bandwagon, but been my favorite fighter for some time, and I had him number one pound for pound, not because he's my favorite fighter, but because he's the best pound for pound fighter in the world. Some people had Canelo over him. Some people had Errol Spence over him,
Yeah,
which
a
I
lot of
thought was
people had
crazy.
Errol Spence over him coming into that fight.
Right. Well, people was favoring Spence. I know. I think Spence might have been the slight underdog. I forget. Like as far as the odds makers is concerned. You know what I mean?
That
But let's
fight was
keep it
pretty
moving.
good.
Let's keep it moving. Next up, fight. No, excuse me. Knockout of the year. Now, I think there was some competition for this one. I think it was some serious competition for this one, but Nonetheless, I don't think people could argue with this one right here, the one that we chose and decided to go with. Knockout of the year. Naoya Inoue. Monster Inoue. The
Monster
KO
anyway.
of Stephen Fulton. Knocked him out, I believe, in the fourth round. Put that boy. That right hand he hit that boy. That one right there, that landed right there. He put that
Mm-hmm.
boy. No disrespect to
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Fulton, man, who was a great champion. Who I think had he won this fight, might have put him in the stratosphere where I think all fighters would like to be. Beating a hot up and coming fighter on the pound for pound list. There's no doubt had he beat anyway in this fight, he would have been on that pound for pound list where every fighter would like to be. Um, and he definitely would have been looked at as one of the best champions in all of boxing. Um, but Monster wasn't having none of it.
And
And
monster. And he had a monster
yeah,
year too. He had a monster year.
absolutely.
This was a
Abs-
breakthrough year. This was a breakout year for NUA.
right. He moves up. He takes a unification bout against Stephen Fulton, and then he just beat the brakes off. Actually, in a good fight of Tapales, which was a good fight for those who was up to like 6 o'clock in the morning to catch that one. But this kid is something special, man. Like I don't know what
Absolutely.
people got him on this pound for pound list, but he's number two on mine. After Bud, I got this kid as number two pound for pound in the world. After beat Stephen Fulton particularly, I put him. He solidified that spot for me as number two, and now he's uh undisputed champion at super bantamweight after becoming in almost a little over a year. I mean, he just became undisputed champion in bantamweight. So he moves up to super bantamweight and becomes undisputed after becoming undisputed in the weight class right under that one in just a few days over a year. So about a year and some change, he became two-time undisputed champion. Yo, this kid's amazing, man. Talk to me.
I mean, his name fits him perfectly. I never seen a Japanese fighter with this type of style and power at the same time. You know, a lot of times I've seen a lot of the smaller Japanese fighters. They're fast and they throw a lot of punches. They move around, but his power is freakishly. He has that freakish power. You understand what I'm saying? Like his name, Monster, is the perfect name, and this kid has the potential to be a huge star in boxing right now. Like I'm looking, I'm looking to see what kind of year he has next year. I know he's been calling out. He recently called out Davis, Abdul Wahid, Tank, formerly known as Tank Davis. So, and Tank Davis, they ain't really quick to want to take this fight. And we're talking about somebody who's coming up to make this fight happen, you know.
Right.
So, I mean, a lot of people are wary about this guy, and I think his best bet would be to move up where he can find the bigger and better fights, especially
Well,
around 130, 135. Because right now he's fighting at what's he fighting at? 122. He's a what, junior featherweight right
122,
now.
126 around there. Yeah.
So he's around
Yep.
junior featherweight back teetering around there. I would step up to lightweight, get yourself on the mat and put these fighters on notice. And right now, that's exactly what he's been doing, especially with calling out Tank Davis. Like you don't, that's huge right there for a fighter like him to be calling out. Like I'm thinking, he's stepping up. What Tank Davis is at 135. He's talking about coming all the way up to 135 now.
Move up to 130. You got fighters like Oshaki Foster waiting on him.
You got
Who's a
Foster.
dog.
Yeah. So, he
Uh,
has the opportunity to come up to 130, clean up that division possibly. Maybe
uh,
unify the belts there.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I know his power is real. If he move up a few more weight classes, and he's still dog walking cats like this. Now I believe in his skill. I believe in his skill. The kid got fast hands, fast feet. You could tell he got boxing IQ, a very high boxing IQ at that, right?
Great
Um,
reflexes, great
yeah, his
instincts, great
instincts.
instincts in the ring. His
He
ring
got
instincts,
all of the
great.
tools. He got all of the tools. All of the tools you would want to have as a champion, right? Reflexes, defense, boxing, ring IQ, punching power. He throws in combinations, right? Got a good
Absolutely.
jab, like footwork, like all of that stuff is on point. But can he move up to 130 and 135 and do that to them big guys up there? That's the question. Now, he's been fighting in Japan a long time. Some people speculating this or that about what's going on with him. But nonetheless, we'll see. When he move up out of Japan and start coming over here on this side of the world to fight fighters like, the Oshaki Forces, or go up to 135 and fighting the Shakur Stevensons, or maybe even go up to 140. And he still got that type power. I mean, the last fighter to do something like that was Manny Pacquiao, and we know what kind of speculations
Was
surround him
Pacquiao.
around his whole career, right? So, but
Mm-hmm.
nonetheless, man, the knockout of the
Well,
year
let's
was
see if
Monster
his hat
Inoue.
size changes. If his hat size changes, then we gotta start looking at him differently. But until his hat size changes, I'm gonna give a man the benefit of the doubt and say that he's just that bad. He's so dangerous that people want to put cheating on him. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, when's the last foreign fighter to make the Ring magazine back-to-back covers?
Foreign fighter.
Yeah, I know it's been. I think it's been done for some fighters, some from some American-born black fighters, but um,
You said to make
like
the
I think
the
back-to-back
cover.
covers of the Ring. Yeah, the front page, the front cover. In a way, made back-to-back Ring magazine covers, man.
I'm trying to think back to when that's happened. Like I'm Ring Mac. I've seen like Ring KO and World Boxing, which are all
Have the
under the
same
same
covers,
publications. I've seen
right?
all three of them like with the same fighter on it, but
Mike ain't make
hmm,
back-to-back covers, but you would
who?
know because you collect them. Mike didn't make back-to-back covers.
Not that I can recall. I can't recall
Okay,
a
I mean
fighter.
you would know better than me
I'm
because I
trying
know
to
you got a
think. I'm really
collection.
trying to think hard. I remember fighters making. Now, okay, I seen fighters make back to back covers, but they shared the cover on one. Like they got an upcoming fight with somebody, and then after winning the fight, or even
Right.
in reverse. But I can't really recall when I've seen one fighter by himself back to back Ring magazine covers. So if
But
anybody
Inoue
could
might have made history with that.
if somebody could bring that up and show me that when I can't recall ever remember that or you know ever remembering seeing that.
Inoue might have made history with that, man. All right, so coming up on our last award, which is Fighter of the Year. Before we even get to that, I just want to remind the folks to please, once again, man, jab that like button, uppercut that subscribe button, lead hook that share button, drop the comment in the comment section. And please throw a multi-punch combination at the notification bell to keep you updated on all our newest content and live streams here on the Parry. Now,
Absolutely.
Fighter of the Year. Before we even get into it, all right? Um, let's talk about some of the fighters that could have been Fighter of the Year this year.
Okay.
My face look too big right there. Let me back out. There we go. I like that better. I don't like all that close up. You know what I mean? I don't know if I comb my beard. I did brush my beard down. It's all oiled and juices and berries. You know what I
All the
mean? That
juices
ain't
and
nothing but ox
berries.
perm you got over there. Yeah. So what's
Fighters that could have possibly made that list. One of them we were
who
just
made who
talking about
in a
in a
way
way.
for
Pardon
sure.
me, in a way.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
absolutely had an amazing year. He absolutely was in that conversation, for fighter of the year. Absolutely, absolutely. Um,
I
and,
would I would think somebody like David Benavidez.
David Benavidez absolutely in the runnings for fighter of the year. He went on. He beat before he beat Andre. He beat what's my man? He beat
Caleb Plant.
Caleb Plant. Yes, I was seeing his face too. He beat Caleb Plant. You know what I'm saying? So it was a great year for Benavidez, for David Benavidez. He had an absolutely great year, and he definitely gets honorable mention as well. Devin Haney, another great year for a fighter. Devin Haney, the fight with Lomachenko, and honestly, he would be if he fought another fighter on the caliber of Lomachenko. It would have been almost a no brainer for him. To be honest with you, in fact, I would say if our fight of the year wasn't our fight of the year, it would have been a hard toss up between him and Benavidez. It would have been a
I think
hard toss up.
for me, I think Devin Haney would have got it because that performance that he put on against Prograde. Now, some people respect Prograde, some don't. I in my eyes, Prograde was probably the most dangerous fighter at 140 pounds. You talking about a fighter that done called out Tank Davis, he done called out Tiafimo. They all ducked that smoke, and my man moved up a whole weight class and stepped into the lion's den with my man, and only got hit 36 times. Like put on a record-breaking performance after beating Lomachenko. Devin Haney would have probably been well deserving of fight of the year. So let's just give my man an honorable mention.
Now
But
he gets the honorable. Everybody we just named got the honorable mention. I just
yeah,
think
David
that
Benavidez as well. Yep.
I think that David Benavidez had the better competition in the two fights that he had,
And the two fights.
and that's where it makes it because the fashion of how you beat somebody, yes, but the caliber of who you beat, that's what to me brings it over the top. It would have been a hard one though. It's not one that I could just say, yeah, David Benavidez should have got the nod or Haney. That was one of the ones that it would have been a tough decision for me to decide if it was just down to them two fighters right there. You know,
Nah, I could
but
dig
I
it.
do
Nah,
think
I could
that
dig it.
I think Caleb Plant and then I think Andrade. Andrade was a fighter that, you know, he was a world class fighter. You know, he was a world class, and he got reduced. he got reduced to looking
To a
amateur.
sparring partner. Man,
He got reduced to a
that
sparring
was the
partner.
second worst ass whooping of the year.
You know, I mean, I say the third. I
Third,
would say the
what's the
third.
second? What's the second?
Charlo, Charlo Canelo.
Nah, Charlo kind of ran, didn't
I can
really
see that.
commit
I
to, you
can
know what I'm
see why you
saying?
say it because he didn't take his ass whooping. He
Yeah,
didn't take
he
it like a
did.
man, so to speak. Yeah, he got
Andre
it.
stood in the
He took
pocket
that
and
beat,
took that beating.
but
He
he
got a
was.
beating.
But the outclass, like he just was so outclassed in that fight. I mean, I see your argument. I still would say Charlo, but I can see that argument. That was Jamel Charlo. That was
Well,
Jamel.
as they said on the hit record "Summertime," drum roll, please.
Here we
I don't think
go.
it's a. I think it's a no-brainer.
Fighter of the year.
Fighter of the year, the pound for pound best fighter in the world, Terrence Bud Crawford, the
Now,
Parry's fighter of the year.
to me, this one was it was a no-brainer, but there was the whole thing of him only having one fight. But when you look at the one fight he had, and then you look at the fashion of how he won that fight, and the fact that we're talking about universally respected number one and number two pound for pound fighters, no matter who you thought was number one, no matter who you thought was number two, these are the people that people were saying was number one and number two, or even 1A and 1B. You understand what I'm
Right.
saying? And the separation that Crawford, the way he separated himself, like I said, head and shoulders above his competition. To me, this was one of those. He only had one fight, but damn, that fight was a huge fight. It was a big fight. The fashion that he looked after that fight, they was talking him fighting Canelo. He beat
Right.
that boy so bad that we was looking at, well, he probably could beat Canelo the way he whooped
Well,
on him.
no,
Like, you understand
he
what I'm
was talking
saying?
about fighting Canelo.
He was talking
He,
about Canelo. You
he said,
understand
"I'll
what I'm
go up
saying?
there and whoop Canelo ass."
So
Like
yeah, so
jumping three weight classes.
it's like when you look at fighters like him and fight and how he won that fight was huge, man. That fight was huge. He didn't barely win it. He dominated. He dominated and then stopped him. And a lot of people didn't expect that stoppage. You know, Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, he was so convinced. On God, you ain't knocking me out. On God, you ain't beating me. You know what I mean? Like he was, and he meant that. Like I
He
seen it in
believed
his,
it.
like he really meant, he sized him up and said, I can take this guy. He just didn't realize the strength. And that was something that when they got in the ring, that was quick. I mean, it was quick to see the difference in strength. When they locked horns, when they locked up, you seen Spence moving, walking, getting walked backwards. You understand what I'm saying?
That yeah,
You
and yeah. In
seen
the
it.
second round, when they kind of they crunched up, and Crawford just kind
And,
of just
and
moved
I
him.
must say, in the first round, he pushed him up off of him. He ran up on him and he gave him a little quick shove. And that shove, he moved him back with that shove. Like he literally, with like a and he moved back. And I said, okay, you know, okay. Shout out to my brother Dito Green, man. I was watching the fight with Green, man. We was having a ball, man. But yeah,
Yeah, man. But we did our live fight party for that one. That was the first. Was that the first one we did?
it might have been. I think it was. I think that was the first fight party. It was live. We had fun. That was a fun fight
Definitely
to
won't be the
watch.
last one. Definitely won't be the last one. But that
Absolutely
was
not.
definitely the first one. I had
Absolutely
a
not.
lot
We're
of
looking
fun,
forward
man.
to the rematch. We're looking for like that fight was so one-sided that I mean it was almost like he had to be hurt. The car accident ruined him. Now I'm hearing about how he came in there with a broke rib and his eyelashes was tangled, was dangled together. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just every excuse that could be made
Yo,
for why he lost that fight. He was smoking on that Mike Tyson before the Mike Tyson
yeah.
package. You
And
know,
somebody we was smoking on that bud pack, and none of that worked out for him. But shout out Errol Spence, man, because nonetheless, I think he a
Errol
great
Spence is a
champion,
champion. He's a
a
champion.
dog.
He's still a pound for pound. He's
He's
still a
still a
pound
pound
for
for pound
pound
fighter,
fighter. You got to
but
see
he
him
has to
come
come
back.
back.
I don't
He
want to
has to
see him
come back and do something.
fight Crawford though in the immediate rematch. Because if Crawford dogs him the way he dogged him the first time, right, which I kind of expect, maybe not as bad because he might be able to make some adjustments watching the tapes, but I don't expect him to just come in and be a better fighter, a whole new fighter in the next fight.
You know what
But
though? I do want to
we
see it
don't
now.
we don't know what he got left. Like if he fights somebody like he's not going to fight a Hitchinson. Well, he's moving up. Hitchinson is at 140, so we're not going to see something like that.
Right.
But if he were to take on somebody, in the 140, 154, I want to see what he got left. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to see him. See him with somebody who see if he could go out there and whoop some ass some more. Because he might go out
All right.
there and struggle with a journeyman. He might go out there and try to take an easy touch up and struggle. And then we'll know, okay, maybe there is something to him coming into that fight like that. But if he gets
Well,
dogged
that'll
again,
mess
then
up the bag.
I mean,
That'll mess up the bag for the next fight. See what I'm
it'll
saying?
mess up his
Now
bag. It'll
let
mess
me
up
ask
his
you a
back. But do
question.
you really think this is a big fight that people are anticipating for? We haven't even heard a date for this fight. And a lot of that is because there is no real anticipation for this fight.
I think there's enough of Errol Spence fans out there who are sold on the idea that he was weight drained and that something wasn't right with him on fight day. Plus the long
Absolutely.
layoff, right?
Absolutely.
I think there's enough people who believe that. And then you on the flip side of that, you got Bud fans that's like, my man's gonna do it again, right? So I think there's enough of an interest from the hardcore fans of both fighters to make this somewhat of a profitable event. Will it be
But
as big as
see,
the first fight? I don't think so.
this is where we have our debates at because I agree with everything you said as far as the hardcores, and there's enough interest in hardcores, but it's not enough interest to me to make this a bigger fight than the first fight.
That's what I
You
just
know,
said.
I know, but I'm saying it's like this is one of them fights that, like, the fight did good. It did good. It was a hit. I
Right.
don't see the second one being nowhere near as big of a hit because I don't see it capturing the imagination of the public. The public is pretty much like, yo, he's gonna whoop his ass again.
I think the promo for the fight is going to make the difference. Now they don't have Showtime behind them now. So what kind of promotional dollars and promotional type of things they gonna be doing on Amazon Prime now? Because I'm assuming this fight is happening on the PBC. Is what I'm assuming.
Which is
So
another big thing that happened this year. Showtime closing the door on boxing.
right, and
But
PBC
and Showtime
moving
wasn't
to
even interested
Amazon
in the
Prime.
rematch. Showtime
Huh?
actually was not interested in the rematch. Showtime wasn't really interested in the rematch.
Now, but now, but just to your point about Spence possibly taking a soft touch before going and getting back in the ring with Bud. Now, let me ask you a question. We're gonna take it outside the ring for a second, man. Like you in school or you on the block, and somebody just you squared up against the other bully on the block or somebody else that think they could do something, and and my man just straight up, you know what I mean, put the mittens on you. You know what I mean? You go home, throw an ice pack, you know what I mean, pack of frozen beans on your eye, you know what I'm saying? Heal up your scars and your cuts and all that. And you got a couple options. You know what I'm saying? People saying, look, man, your man saying y'all could do it again. If you thought that was just a fluke. You know what I'm saying? Now the whole world, the whole block done seen you get your ass whooped now. You know what I mean? So you gonna go around the other corner and pick a fight with, you know what I mean, with some lesser competition, or you going back, you stepping right back to the biggest bully on the block who just whooped your ass in front of the whole block. Which one you doing?
I'm gonna go kick somebody ass around the corner because it's gonna it's gonna bring my name back up. It's gonna be because I'm gonna go out there and show that because there's gonna be somebody around the corner that's gonna have something slick to say about me getting my ass beat. You understand what I'm saying? Like somebody's gonna have something slick to say. So I'm gonna make an example and say, look, he might have been able to take me, but none of y'all jokers can get with me like that. And then I'm gonna have then that's gonna have me ready to go back around the corner and see him again. Like, I just broke his jaw. You know what? I'm ready to go see him again now. So I'm not gonna lie. I mean, that might not have been the answer you expected, but I'm just being honest though. If I get especially if it's really bad, like if it's one of them, I didn't even look like I was outclassed. Because as a man, like, man, I could, every time I went left, he went right. And every time I went high, he went low. And there was nothing I could do. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if I knew I got beat like that, I'm like, all right, let me go kick some ass real quick. So I remember what it's like to kick some ass before I go back in there. Because that's not, even though I'm confident and even though I'm not scared, I don't know how that's going to turn out. Because I still remember what he did the first time.
Yo, I'm all right. Me personally, no cap. I'm going back to homeboy who just, you know what I mean, put the
A
mittens
lot
on
of
me.
people
Why?
would. A lot of
But
people
but
would. I'm
but
not
but
going to lie.
why? But why? It's not really thinking like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go back over there now. I'm gonna do to him what he did to me. Nah, I'm going back to get my respect. Because if you just dog walk me, nah, I need to go back. Like you gotta leave with something too. Like even if I lose the fight, next time we fight, fam, you throwing a stake on that eye. You know what I mean? And I think Errol Spence got that type of mentality. Like, nah, man, the way you just dog walk me, I don't want to fight nobody else. I gotta show my kid. He had to go back in the
I
locker room with
get
his
that.
kids,
I get that. Look, that's my pride
looking
too.
like looking
My
like
pride
Martin
says
after
that.
Tommy Hearns.
My pride says that, but at the end of the day, I'm looking at it like, you know what? And see, the scenario you gave me, I played it out in my own head, and in my head, I'm seeing myself on the block. I lose over here on this corner. I already know how that's gonna play out. Somebody is gonna try me. Somebody who's lesser than me is gonna feel confident because they see me get beat up over here. So because they confident over, so now I gotta show them, look, y'all not him. You understand? So now I gotta show I'm still me. I just had a bad day. Now, after that, yeah, let's go. Now I'm ready. Now I'm ready. Because that's my training. My training is kicking some ass. And now I'm ready to come back and fight. You know what I'm saying?
Nah,
Because I'm not gonna sit home. I'm not gonna sit home shadow boxing or hitting the bag, feeling like I'm getting prepared. No, I gotta go whip some ass to get prepared.
nah, I hear you, brother.
But I definitely think that most people, just in pride and ego alone, is gonna pick going right back into that fight again. Because I mean, I'm saying all that, but in the heat of the moment, I've been in fights where, you know, I done got hit, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not trying to end the fight now. This fight can't end until everybody breaking it up, and I'm like, nah, I feel like he got the best of this. Like, no, it ain't over until he either knocks me all the way out or I get mine back. So I've been there. You know what I'm saying? I know what that feels like, and I've also been in fights where it's like, man, I done kicked your ass already, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you still trying to come at me? You still want this? So I understand all of that.
Nah, I hear you, G. Yo, he said, nah, I'm gonna go back around the corner. Go around the corner, I'm gonna fight somebody else. Gotta
Yeah.
get a dub back on the board, on the scoreboard. Like, nah.
Yeah,
Nah, I
because
feel you.
I can't. I mean, I'm not about. Look, the reality is this, man. And this is just thinking. Me thinking, because I probably wouldn't be thinking as much, but thinking, nah, man, I'm not about to take no. I'm not about to be like Mosley, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm
Nah,
not
man,
about to
like
be
so
like Sugar Shane,
well,
and he's
particularly
looking at. He's about to be like Sugar Shane. He's about to take 2 back-to-back losses, and then where does he go from there?
well,
Now
like for
think
me
about
personally,
this,
man, yeah,
but
yeah.
think about this now, real quick. Now we're going back. We're taking it back to the ring. We're taking it back to prize fighting now. You know what I mean?
Right.
When we talking prize fighting, the key word is prize. The bigger the prize is the bigger the fight, right? So now me going out there and taking on a soft touch, or maybe somebody who is I feel more confident in that I should be able to just beat, that brings some more that makes the prize a little bit bigger now. Because now some people say, oh yeah, you know what? He looked great in that fight. He came out, especially the casuals. The casuals, they don't see certain nuances that we can see. So they're
Right.
gonna look at it and say, oh man, yeah, oh man, you know what? His ribs was broke. His eyelashes was dangled. You know what I'm saying? He was, you know what I'm saying? Like he had some shit on his mind. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna think that. And so he's going to be able to restore some of the luster and some of the anticipation for a rematch. It's like, yo, I just knocked this dude out. I just broke this dude's jaw after losing a fight, telling everybody I had an off night. Now you see me with on an on night. You kind of like, okay, you know what? The way you look tonight, you can probably beat this guy in the rematch, or at least fare so much better.
Well, here's the reason why I got to give, you know what I'm saying, Errol Spence, man, the utmost props, even for going back into this rematch. Never in his career has he taken a soft touch. Even after coming off a car accident, bro. He jumped back. He jumped back in the ring with who was it? Was it Danny Garcia?
It was Danny Garcia, and then he fought Sean Porter.
One of them he fought before the crash. Cause
Was it?
it was the fight. Yeah, I'm gonna
Then
look
it
it up
was.
now. See, I'm gonna look it up because I want to be accurate right now. I want to be accurate. All right.
Because Porter fought before Porter fought
Yeah, he fought
Crawford,
Sean. He fought Sean Porter.
and then
Had the crash. He came back and he fought Danny Garcia.
he fought Danny Garcia. Okay, and Danny Garcia is definitely not a soft touch,
Absolutely not. Especially at that time. Especially at that
especially.
time. He might have been one of the hardest hitters outside of Errol Spence in the division.
I would go with Keith Thurman. I think Keith Thurman might have hit a little bit
Man,
harder.
Keith Thurman at this time was playing flutes, man. No disrespect.
I'm not
Like he
sitting
just
there trying to. I agree with that. Like Keith Thurman, I don't know what Keith Thurman. Keith
But when you
sometimes
ask
Thurman. I don't.
when you ask either of them guys who hit hard, Danny Garcia was hurting these kids. But when Keith Thurman finished fighting him, he acknowledged that this dude hit hard. Same thing with Errol Spence. Same thing with Sean Porter. They acknowledged this kid got popped, man. They ain't my man Keith Thurman didn't he injure
Absolutely.
his arm or something? He injured my man arm. He like punched a muscle out of his arm or something, man. You know what I'm saying? Nah, Danny Garcia definitely got some pop, man. Shout out to Danny Garcia, Danny Swift Garcia. We need you back in the ring, man. He was, I know, but he was one of my favorite fighters. I'm gonna go ahead and leave that there. That was my guy. That was my guy.
I was disappointed in that jab judo fight at him and his father's
Ah, yeah,
contest.
me too. Yeah, me too. I
I
ain't
was,
like that.
I was
I
really
never was a fan
disappointed in that
of his
contest.
father though.
And after that, it was just like it just really turned me off from them. But he is a great fighter though. Danny Garcia is a great fighter though.
Teofimo Lopez Sr. is the new Angel Garcia, if you ask me. Like, just annoying as hell, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, just not a big fan of the pops. But the son, yeah, but the pops, for some reason, I just can't get with them two. You know what I'm saying?
You know,
I
we
just
got to
can't.
do something on that. We got to have a episode where we talk about father and sons in boxing and the best father and son duos, you know, from past to present, as well as maybe even talk about the maybe even discuss the greatest boxing brothers, you know, because you
Well,
got brothers.
in regards to father son duos, I'm gonna go with what works. And I think heads above any other is you got to talk about Kenny and Sean Porter, and you got to talk about Bill and Devin Haney.
And you
Everybody
got to
else is
talk.
like,
It doesn't stop there. Nah,
who?
it's way bigger than long. You got
No, I know, but
Felix.
who?
You got Trinidad and Don Field and Don Trinidad. You know what I'm saying?
True,
Like
true.
um even the Garcias, I might not put them on that pedigree. You know, but you
Yeah,
have
they. I'm thinking about splitting between your father and jumping him as a trainer. You know what I'm saying? So you're right, because Danny
you had
Garcia and Angel
Mosley, you
Garcia is
had
still
Shane Mosley
Shane
and
Mosley.
Roger Mosley. You
I
know what I
know,
mean?
but didn't he bounce from his pops though at one point?
And he came back.
And I know Roy Jones don't even talk to his
Well,
pops to
Roy
this day.
Jones, most of his career wasn't with his father. Most of his
Right.
professional career was away from his father. Roy Jones is a bad example. And even when Mosley actually split from his pops, they didn't. There was no beef. You know, it was him trying to find a new look after taking some losses,
You got
trying to
Floyd
figure out
Senior and Floyd Junior.
Floyd Senior, Floyd Junior. Like the list is big, and with like right now leading the pack would probably definitely be Haney in the right now is Bill
You
and
got
Devin Haney in the present
Tyson
moment.
Fury and his pops. I forgot his pops' name.
Yeah, something Fury. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. You
Something
get what I'm
Fury.
saying.
Mick
Yeah, you get what
Fury.
I'm
I
saying.
don't know. You
But
know what
but we
I
running
mean?
we running short on time. But before we go, I wanna just remind people to jab that like button, and uppercut that subscribe button. You know the saying, lead hook the share button and throw a combination notification bell and follow
Before
us
we
on
get,
Twitter and all of that. Yeah, what's up?
I didn't want to cut you off. That's why I had to shut up.
Yeah. Nah,
Before
you over there messing up my, you know what I mean?
I
Fuck,
know,
what
I
they call
know,
that
I
shit? A
know. Pardon
monologue or
me.
some shit? You fucking up
I
my shit.
digress.
Oh,
I
excuse my
digress.
language. You know what I mean?
I
Pardon
get
the
it.
language. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
get it.
Go ahead, brother.
So this year in boxing, you know, it was a big year though. It wasn't just like we seen a lot of big things, and one of the biggest things to me this year was Showtime closing its doors on boxing and what that could mean for the future of boxing and the way fighters are developed. Before we had the opportunity to have promoters as well as the networks, which the networks was like a co-promoter helping develop some of these fighters. You know, we had HBO, which had, you know, Boxing After Dark, and then they had their championship boxing. You had Showtime with Showbox and their championship boxing. And they helped, especially HBO, but they helped develop some of these fighters, turn some of these fighters into stars, and then from stars into superstars in some cases. And without those networks participation, we don't have the now everything is almost pay-per-view. Just about everything is you got to pay to stream now, whereas before, you know, we could turn on the TV. We even had Friday night fights on ESPN. We even had, well, Tuesday night fights has been way gone, but we had these things which helped develop fighters, and now that that's gone, I think that um it's we're seeing the superstars develop slower. You know, look at Tank Davis, look at Devin Haney, look at the age of these fighters, and think about when De La Hoya was that age and where he was at in his career. Think about where Felix Trinidad was at when he was their age in the career. Think about Shane Mosley where he was at that stage of his career, and a lot of that had to do with Boxing After Dark, HBO show, HBO Championship Boxing. You know, Zab Judah. By the time Zab Judah was 27, 28, you know, we had seen him all over Friday night fights, all the way up into Showtime, and then he ended up on HBO. And they
I
helped
think I
the
think just to, not to cut you, I think one of the exceptions to that is Devin Haney though. Devin Haney just turned 25. At
well, Devin
24 and
Haney's a
25
little
years
bit
old,
younger.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. At 24, 25, he's doing a little bit more than some of these cats was doing at their age. Now, Tank Davis at being
At who?
27, 28,
At his peers, maybe, but if you go back, like someone like Oscar De La Hoya or someone like Trinidad, absolutely not. As far as well, I see your argument. I actually, you know what, thinking about you because you're looking at the accolades and accomplishments as far as like the
right,
trophies that he's accumulated, or the trinkets, or the
right,
titles, or the championships, whatever you want. So I
right.
see what you're saying in that aspect. You know, I see what you're saying because someone like Trinidad, he was at welterweight for about, well, he stayed at welterweight for from what 90 from 91 when he turned pro to about 98, 90,
Let's
no,
say
till
90,
about
like
2000, till about
in the
2000.
welterweight.
Yeah, because he fought
Nah,
he fought De La Hoya in 1999. In September of 1999, he fought De La Hoya for the welterweight championship, and it wasn't until February of 2000 that he fought. Was it February or was it? It might have been. It might have
I think
been
I think it,
It might have
Did he
been
fight him?
November, December. But he fought. His next
He fought,
fight was against David Reed at 154 pounds.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah. You're right. You're right. You're right.
So yeah, he
Yeah,
stayed.
you're
You
right.
know, fighters were sticking around, and I mean that was normal. Like fighters, fighters wasn't like Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins stayed at middleweight from since he turned pro all the way up until around 2005.
Now, before we go, pick a fighter who not none of the not the Bud Crawfords, the Errol Spencers, the Deontay Wilders, none of that. Give me your dark horse, as they say, for next year. The one who's gonna just come out of not in particular got to come out of nowhere.
I'm
It
gonna
needs
tell
to
you
kind
right
of be
now,
buzzing a little
I
bit.
got
But
it already.
who's gonna make their mark in 2024? You think brand new fighter who's gonna make their mark?
Philadelphia's Richardson Hitchens.
He's from Brooklyn, by the way, brother. Thank you.
I thought he ain't from Philly.
No sir, he's from Brooklyn. No
Boots is
sir.
from Philly. Pardon me. I
And
be
it's funny
confusing.
because you picked the fighter. You just said the name of the fighter I'm picking. I think this is
Huh?
Boots. I think 2024 Boots Ennis finally he started making some noise. Like he get a fight with somebody that's
Absolutely.
somebody, and he's gonna put a hurting on him.
Absolutely. I think I agree with you 100%. I think next year will
I
be the
like
year
Richard
that
Hitchison though.
Boots will be in that fight where he'll have to show and prove, and hopefully he rises to the occasion. So far, I believe he will. I think though my wild card though my wild card fighter is Richardson Hitchison.
Brooklyn's own, and I ain't mad at that.
You
You
know
know
what
what I'm
I mean?
saying? Brooklyn, let's go. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at that pick. That's a good pick. That's a good
Yeah,
pick. That's a good pick. That's a
yeah.
good pick. That's a good
That's
pick. I'm going
that's
with
that
Boots though.
that's my
I'm
wild
going with
card for
Boots.
next year. I think he's gonna have a breakout year, and but you have fighters though who are around. You got Mateus, was it Matias, Matias,
Matias, yeah.
Matias. I'm looking at him next year. I'm thinking, I'm seeing, I'm wanting to see what he got to bring to the table next year because he's a dangerous, deadly. Like he's dangerous. That boy is dangerous. You got I'm looking to see what, even though he's not a wild card fighter, I'm looking to see what Shakur gonna do next year because this was a real whack year for Shakur, man. In my
That
opinion,
last
like this,
performance just kind of left a sour
it,
taste in everybody's mouth. Pause.
yeah.
Mm.
Besides the performance, his actions and antics outside the ring have been everything but they've been corny, outright corny.
So let me ask you again. We went out of time still, but before we go, what's your most anticipated fight for 2024?
My
Like
most
what's the
anticipated.
fight you want to see? It ain't got to be on the books yet, but like what fight you want to see in 2024?
I want to see Shakur and Tank. That's the fight I want to
He
see.
said Shakur and Tank.
I want to see Shakur and Tank more than any other fight. You know what I'm saying? Because you got the power. To me, those are the two fighters around the weight class with the absolute best boxing IQs. I think the only other person that I would care to see either one of them in that with that type of anticipation would clearly be Devin Haney. I would love to see Devin Haney in with one of those two guys as well. But me as a fan, and not as a fan of either fighter, but as a boxing fan, I feel like that would be probably one of the most exciting and one of the most dramatical fights because you're looking at it like, can he not get touched? Will Tank be able to put the hands on him? I mean, and will Shakur be able to outbox him? That to me would be the dream fight I would love to see for next year.
I mean, I hate to say it, man, but no, never mind. I ain't gonna get no predictions for that fight. He said Tank will destroy Shakur. Let's go. He said,
Just put it up.
man, here we go, man. Come on, man. First of all, I got mad love for Shakur, but everybody know who my man is, yo. Everybody know who my boy is. I ain't gonna name his name, but I got Shakur since he brought it up. Since he brought it up, you know what I'm saying? I got Shakur and Devin beating Tank. I'm taking all bets. Either one of them getting the ring with Tank, Tank losing. That's just how I feel about it. I actually think that they both bad matchups for Tank, man. They both bad matchups for Tank. But what would probably why I think Shakur would probably be a worse matchup for Tank is they both southpaws, and that's southpaw versus southpaw is always an awkward fight. You know what I'm saying? So whoever can make the adjustment
I
quicker.
see why you say that though. Like I see why you say that they're both bad matchups. I see why you say that. I can see it for Tank. I think,
And
but
I
see,
like, excuse me, Abdul Wahid. Wahid.
I
You know what I'm
favor.
saying?
Well, Tank's the nickname, so I guess we can still call him Tank. We ain't
We
calling him
still call him
Javante,
Tank. Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
We
We
can still
call him
call him.
Tank.
We call him Tank. Abdul
Yeah, his
Tank
mama named
Wahid.
Tank.
Is that his
I'm
name?
gonna call him
It's
Tank.
Abdul Tank Wahid, right?
Abdul Tank Wahid. Tank Abdul Wahid.
Tank Abdul Wahid, right? You know what I mean? I think I see why you say that, and I mean it's a possibility. I just think that Tank I think Tank IQ is a lot higher than I think even you give him credit for. I think Tank boxing IQ is up there. Like
It is.
it just it's just how patient he is. Like he can sit there and say, okay, it's gonna take me 7 rounds, but I know in that 7th round, with everything you're doing right now, is gonna cause for me to find that opening. You know, he's one of them fighters that when I watch him fight, I can see him thinking. You know, Bud Crawford is one of those fighters. When I watch him fight, I can see him thinking. Shakur Stevenson is a fighter like that. Devin Haney, I don't really see him thinking as much, but he's very instinctive, though. He got crazy instincts in the ring, which I didn't really initially notice about him. But his instincts is crazy. I just don't. I think that the Shakur is the worst matchup for Tank. I think Tank, Devin, it could go either way. I think that fight could go either way, but I think that Tank can knock out either one of
Either
them.
one of them.
And I
Facts.
think that Tank, and I would favor Tank to knock out Haney before I would favor him to knock out Shakur. Because Haney would get in his face more than Shakur would.
I ain't gonna say nothing. You gotta leave that alone.
I didn't say I
Listen.
give him the win. I'm saying
No, no,
like
I know, I know, I know, I know, I
if I
know,
had
I
to,
know,
if
I
I had, if
know.
someone said, "Yo, he's knocking one of them out," which one is it going to be? I would say it would be Haney over Shakur. But hey, what did you just say? He beats them both, or you said that Tank loses to both of them? Pardon me. You said
Yeah.
Tank loses to both of them,
I think
and
Tank loses to both of them.
I see why you say that. I see it.
But let me oh, you know what we didn't do? You know what award we didn't give out, man? I kind of feel bad because it just entered my mind. Coach Trainer of the Year.
Ooh, trainer of the year, trainer of the year, trainer of the year, trainer of the year. I'm gonna go with free Bomac. Bomac is free. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm just gonna ride with Bomac on this one. Fighter of the year, performance of the year, trainer of the year, all that's over there coming out of the camp, coming out of my man camp. But there's that. I might be overzealous with that statement, but that's what I would say if I had to just, even though we didn't actually officially give that award, but yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't officially get that award, but my unofficial coach trainer of the year, and it's based. And I'm gonna take something you said, and I'm gonna just go a little bit in depth for a second. You said Devin Haney. You don't. He's more instinctual. You really don't see him thinking in the ring like that. I disagree with that, but also just to maybe to add on to that point though, it's the game plan that he goes into the ring with. He got game plan A, B, and C when he gets into the ring, which lets me know that his coaching and training is excellent because they got this man prepared for his opponents. So in my book, now I'm gonna pick. Actually, I have to go with co-trainers or coaches of the year. Obviously, I'm talking about Bill Haney
Mm-hmm.
as coach trainer of the year slash Jose Benavidez Sr.
I was thinking of Jose Benavidez Senior myself as well, though. He was. I was thinking of him as well. All three of them. I mean, it's a toss up though. It would be a toss up between Benavidez Senior and Bill Haney. It would be a
Finally put
toss.
some respect on it. You finally put some respect on it. I
It
appreciate it.
would. It would
Now,
be a toss between them
I
two.
didn't give my I didn't give my anticipated fight though before we go.
Okay.
I mean, as much as I would love, like for you said Shakur Tank. I wanted to go with Devin Tank But now, I think my most anticipated fight, the fight that I want to see the most next year, is David Benavidez, Canelo Alvarez. That's the fight I want to see probably more than any other fight.
Mm,
Is that one? I need to see
mm,
that fight. That's gonna
mm.
be fireworks. That's gonna be a fight. Cause neither one of them on some. I'm backing up. Somebody gonna break.
Yeah, yeah, that will be a great fight. Two Mexicans, two Mexicans. You know, a Mexican rivalry. We might get to see some Morales Barrera type action, or you know, um, what's my man name? Barrera, your man, Barrera Marquez type action. You know,
Yo, am I froze?
absolutely.
Ah man. All
I'm
right.
about to
You
say
know
how
what?
you. I was about to say how'd you do that? You didn't even move your mouth in your speech.
Yo, entertain the folks so I can come back and do the outro. I'll be right back.
Absolutely. We still here at the Parry. This was a great year in boxing, though, man. It's a great freaking year in boxing, man. But he's wrong, though. Bomani is wrong. You know what I'm saying? About Tank and Devin Haney. I hate to say it, man. I'm gonna talk my junk while he gone. You know what I'm saying? But another good fight, though, I would like to see would be um, Charlo. I want to see Charlo back in the ring. I want to see the older Charlo. I mean, not the older Charlo, Jamal Charlo. I want to see Jamal Charlo. I would love to see him in the ring with Benavidez. You know, that would be a good fight. You know, especially after the way he drubbed what's his name, man? The way he drubbed his brother. You know, the get the fight back to back brothers. You know what I'm saying?
My man
That would
said
be
I
dope.
was wrong. I was wrong about what, man?
No, I
What you
was
talking
joking,
about?
man. I said you was wrong about Haney and Tank, but that's I was talking my junk while you was going. That's all. I
Had to
had
do
to
that
talk.
while I was out. While I step out the road.
I
See what I'm
had to talk
saying?
my trash while you was going. That's all, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all. But nah,
But
but
before,
Haney is like Hagler, man. He did it the Hagler way. He's not like Hagler, but he did it the Hagler way. And
yeah,
for that,
for the people in the back.
I tip my hat to him. I think that Devin Haney is definitely a fighter to look for. I think he's on his way to being a superstar. I really do.
Yo, we haven't done a post fight in a minute, man. I don't know if you got a few minutes to maybe jump on.
Yeah, I got
On
time.
here. All right, let's see what's popping over there. If it ain't nothing really going on, we can get ahead and dip out. But yeah, we up out of here, man. Any part words before we go?
2003 was great. I'm glad we got to do this live because initially it wasn't actually in the plan, so I'm glad we did. I know things kind of might have slowed up for the people out there who've been following us and supporting us. You know, they might not have seen us as much as they were seeing us, but that's only because there's a revamping process taking place right now. There's a
You about to step on the gas?
renovation process. There's a
Hey,
renovation process taking place. The word, right? Renovate. When you renovate, yeah, we
yep. Upgrade.
we renovating right now. So expect 2024 to be a bigger year from the Parry. You know what I'm saying? Expect us to start collecting our own championships in 2024. You know
Yep.
what?
We about to start moving and grooving. You about to start seeing us outside, man. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully,
Exactly.
we out here talking to fighters that doing post fights interviews and press
Exactly.
conferences. That's where we
Exactly.
trying to take it. You know what I'm saying? But
Exactly.
we here
Exactly.
at the
We
Parry.
ain't gonna spill the beans too much, but that's all coming though. Believe me, all of that is actually coming. Also, shout out shout out to Ivan Robinson, man. Mighty Ivan Robinson, man. You know, he was our first boxer to come on and rock out with us. He's rocked out with us a couple times so far. You know, we should have called him up for the night, but you know, he's definitely his insight, his insight is always stellar. You know, when we talked about the fight with what was the fight we had him on? The pre-fight.
For the Haney Prograde.
The Haney Progress. He called it like it was, you know. He called the
Yep.
fight like it had to be. So it was definitely great having that expert opinion from him. So shout out to
Shout
that
out
bro
Mighty
right
I
there.
Robinson, man. For real, man.
You
Shout out
know,
to Raheem Shabazz.
I was gonna say
You know what I'm
Rakeem
saying?
Shabazz, and I can't
Wise the
forget my
Dome
brother
TV.
Jamal. Shout out to Jamal
Yeah,
Yahuru.
Yahoo, man. Absolutely.
You know what I
Shout out to
mean?
Mental Son, man, for that's you know what I mean. You need some digital logos and all of this and that. Yeah, that logo you see right there. Wait, wait,
Yeah,
wait, wait.
shout out to
Yeah,
Mental
over there.
Sun.
Yeah, that one.
Mental
Yeah, the
Sun
one over right there.
for the Parry
Yeah, that one.
logo, for that for that bold black and gold, you know. So we might as well run it over to the after party, man. See what's going on, man. The
Yeah, we're gonna
post
see what's
fight
popping
party.
on the private Facebook group. We're doing our post fight.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? So yo, we are once again, man, on your way out, man. Jab that like button, uppercut that subscribe button, lead hook that share button. You know what I'm saying? And throw a combination at the notification bell. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it at the Parry 101. You can follow us on TikTok at the.parry.101. Thread at the Parry 101, Facebook, search Facebook groups, the Parry. It's a private group. Answer the questions, man. And if we like you, we feel like you know what you're talking about, you get invited into the group, or you get, you know what I mean, personal, not personal, but you get private live streams that we do just for the group where we chop it up, talk about boxing and everything else under the sun. You know what I'm saying? But
Absolutely.
once again,
Shout
thank
out
you
to
for joining us.
Adenike, Kenyatta, and yo, my man Jungle. Shout out to everybody who be watching us and our diehards. Our diehard. Shout out to our
Our
diehard.
diehards. Yeah,
You know what I'm
thank y'all
saying?
for joining us, man. Definitely appreciate your love and support constantly, man. And once again, man, this is the Parry, but we don't pull or duck no punches. And the Parry is fundamental to boxing. And you know what time it is, yo. We up out of here. Peace.
Actually, now we're going to show you how to catch the jab. Actually, in boxing, it's called parrying.